We've had a lot of wintry weather recently, and with all that leftover snow and ice lingering on some spots, you run the risk of being injured on someone else's property. Colorado's best attorney Phil Harding is here to tell us exactly what we need to worry about. Oh, great, Phil, one more thing for me to worry about as a mother. Am I going to get hurt, or are my kids going to get hurt? That's what we're talking about today, right?
We are, but I'm going to give you keys on how to handle those worries.
Okay.
And I'm going to talk a little bit, you know, there are two things to kind of worry about, car accidents and also getting injured on the property of another.
Right. So let's start with how we avoid getting into an accident.
Yeah, and that's a great thing to talk about. Look, attorneys see people after they've been injured, and you know, practicing this many years, there are some key things that you can do to help prevent injuries on the road. And so let's talk about that. I think we have a graphic coming up here. First of all, and you know, this goes without saying, no distracted driving, no drinking and driving. But do you know they're equal? When you are a distracted driver by a cell phone or eating or something like that, you have the same reaction time as a 0.08 blood alcohol.
You're kidding.
Yeah,
so that's interesting.
They're equal. The next thing, and this is really big, everyone is running red lights, and I get so many cases of people that have been struck by people shooting through the red light. If you're the first one, the light turns green, I want you to pause for 1 second.
1 second?
1 second, look left and right again, make sure
like if you're approaching a green light?
No, let's say you're sitting in a red light.
Okay.
It turns green. I want you to pause for a second, look left and right one more time. Someone's going to honk behind you, but I want you to envision that they're thanking you because you probably saved your life and their life by doing that.
Just 1 second.
Just 1 second.
Everyone's always in such a hurry during the holidays, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the last thing is, when you're parking in a parking lot, if you can pull through so that when you pull out, you're going straight out, not backing up, do that.
Really?
So many accidents occur, or you run over or hit someone because when you're backing out, you can't see that much.
What about people who back into their parking space, Phil? Is that a good idea?
Well, I don't know the stats, but I really think, you know, when you're first coming in, by looking around, it's probably safer to back in if you can properly do that, not
All right.
hit
I
someone.
caught you off guard there with
That's
that question.
That's all right. I appreciate that. Let's talk about the next thing. And the next thing is being injured on the property of other. These used to be called slip and fall cases. Colorado has gone to what's known as the Premises Liability Act, which has created a different standard for each type of person who's on a property. And really, there's defined under the statute 3 different types of people. One is a trespasser, and we all know what that is. The next one is a licensee and an invitee, and I want to talk about these. Now, a trespasser, the person that owns the land, they are liable if they willfully or deliberately caused an injury. That's the only way. The next one is a licensee, and a licensee is, for example, if you're renting an apartment and you're inside the apartment, the landlord can be held liable if they knew about the dangerous condition.
Really?
Yep. Okay. Now the next one, which is the highest, is called an invitee. And let's say you're at the store of another. Now not only is the landowner liable for dangerous conditions that they knew about, but also that they should have known about. So that's the 3 different standards. I got to tell you, a lot of people go, if I am injured on the property of another, who's going to pay for my medical bills?
I know, that's always a question I have. So who does pay for those medical bills if you get hurt?
Well, if you have health insurance, obviously that's going to pay for that. But many land owners and stores have medical coverage. It's called MedPay, and it's generally like $5,000 or $10,000. And they pay this out no matter who's at fault.
Really? Okay.
Another thing I want you to know is if you have health insurance, you can use that MedPay to pay your deductibles. But if you use health insurance, if you settle your case, remember that word subrogation?
We always include this in our segments. How does that subrogation apply here?
All right, well, subrogation means that you have to pay back what your health insurance has paid out. So let's talk a little bit about this. And here's something very important that I want our viewers to know. Even if your health insurance has paid out, I do not want you to sign a medical release for the other side. And the reason why is because when you use your health insurance, a lot of times they reduce how much is paid to a hospital or a doctor. Now, we have a graphic here and we have an example, and let's just talk about this. This is a billing, a real billing from Swedish hospital. And let's look at this billing from Swedish. If you look in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the words explanation of benefits. Everyone calls it by its acronym times EOBs. In this case, if you had health insurance, the billing from Swedish was $29,000. Now your health insurance reduces it by about $21,000 and says we have a contracted rate. So you get this discounted rate because you have health insurance. If you would have signed a release, the other side gets to see this reduction and then they think, oh, I don't have to pay back the full $29,000. You got this reduction. So when we settle with you, we want the reduction as well.
Okay, so why don't they get that deduction?
The reason why they don't get that reduction is they haven't been paying years and years and years for health insurance premiums. And when they settle with you, they're not going to pay you back your health insurance premiums. And let me give you the easiest example. Let's say you want a hotel for the weekend. You call up and you go, how much is the hotel? And they go, you know, it's $150 a night. And you go, oh, you know what? I got AAA. What's the AAA discount? They say, well, it's $99. The other side is not paying for your AAA membership, so they don't get that reduction. So when you hire an attorney or when you're showing medical bills to the other side, you redact or cover up the paid amount and only show them the billed amount. In this one example, you could have gotten $29,000, but if you would have sent them the entire thing or signed a medical release, you would have only gotten paid $8,000 on this thing because that's how much the health insurance paid out.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. I think the bottom line is try not to get injured. You won't have to worry about all this, but it really does help to have this information and a lawyer behind you if you do get injured.
Yeah, right? As they know, call me, call us if you have any questions. We're happy to
You're on my speed dial. If anything happens, you are the first person I'm calling.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll wait for it.
I told my husband, I'm like, he knows everything. We'll give him a call. All right, if you have a question for Phil, go to coloradosbest.tv and send those questions in. He will answer each question personally. And if you'd like to contact Phil at his office, Harding & Associates, call 303-762-9500. You can also get a free consultation anytime, and you can find him online at hlaw.org. Coming up on Colorado's